Welcome to Laird Wellness Live.
Good evening.
Scott Laird, Jody Laird.
Yes.
And we had a very eventful week. We started a few new things on our website.
We did.
We did. Yes, we did. We have two new things. Actually, one was always there for our Biologic Blueprint program. You could always pay it in installments. But now anything you want to get at our store, you can get and pay payments.
Yeah.
If you want to spread it out, you can do that. So there's an option there to say you can do it, I think it's every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
It'll just come off your debit card. Make sure it's a debit card, not a credit card. Otherwise, there's interest involved and all that kind of stuff. So it is every 2 weeks on your debit card. And it pays it off in, I believe, 4 installments.
Okay.
So if you need to get something bigger and you don't have the cash for it right now, just spread it out. Easy as cash. Easy as cash. Easy as pie. And also, we have another new thing. I'm about to put it on the screen here.
Okay.
Subscribe and save. So on several of our products, you can now subscribe and get it every 30 days. A lot of our stuff comes to you, every 30 days or so, or, you use it up every 30 days. So we thought, why not have a way for people to subscribe? And when you do that, similar to if you do this on Amazon, etc., you get a little bit of a break. So with us, it's 5% off every time.
Right.
And we'll just send it to you every 30 days. Now, the cool thing is we were also able to do this with our blood test program. So not every 30 days, but if you want to test every 3 months, you can do that. And all you have to do is just click that same box that you saw on the screen there when you go to the Discovery panel, which looks like this right here. And you will see a box and it will say, would you like to do this every 3 months? And if you click that, you can get tested every 3 months and keep track of how you are doing. How about that?
Is there an option to do every 6 months?
You can only have one option. There's no drop down or anything like that. So we had to pick one. So we knew, every 3 months was something. But, let us know. If you're into doing this every 6 months instead of 3, we can do that. We picked 3 months because when someone does our 12-week program, there's a test at the beginning, test at the end. That's about 3 months. So it's a good time to test and see what's going on. But you can just do it individually as well. How about that? And that also you can do in payments right on the website. And you can do that every 2 week thing for anything up to $999 or something like that. And then after $1,000, it doesn't work that way. But anyway, I don't think we have anything on our website that's that much anyway.
No.
So anyhow, you can do that with anything you purchase, including the blood test. Now, speaking of blood tests, guess what? We have a special for you as well. We have a special good for now through the end of September for our blood test. $30 off our Discovery panel, that thing we just showed you. Let's show it to you again so you remember which one it is. There it is right here. Okay, so there it is, and you get $30 off of this for a limited time until September 30th. All you have to do is use code BLOOD30 at checkout.
Nice.
BLOOD30. Right, and so just as a reminder right here, it ends September 30. So remember that. Okay, so tonight we are going to talk about NAC, or better known as N-acetylcysteine. This is an interesting supplement that has kind of not a checkered past, but a past that's sort of it's different because, and I'll explain why in a minute, but right now you may have heard that ever since COVID, so this thing really worked well for people's respiratory systems, for their immune system, but it turns out it's good for the brain. That's why we're talking about it tonight in regards to the brain. So it's got all kinds of great attributes to it. A derivative of that is found in foods, but N-acetylcysteine on its own, sort of a concentrated form of it, to make things simple, it's not found in foods. So originally, this was not a supplement. And that's the fight now. See, the FDA is trying to make this, they're trying to make it a drug.
Right.
And they're trying to force people to take it off of their websites. And lots of people are saying, no, this is still a supplement. There's still nothing here that says this is a drug. So we have a version right here that Jody has in her hand.
Yes, I do.
This is NAC. We have that. And we're going to tell you a little bit more about that a little later on. The good thing about this thing is the regular dose on that is actually a therapeutic dose for what we're going to be speaking about tonight.
Okay.
So yeah, interesting. So because usually sometimes, to get a therapeutic dose, you have to take, 4 or 5 or 6 of these things to get a therapeutic dose. That is actually in a therapeutic dose. So N-acetylcysteine, what makes it so special and why is the government after it? So here's a little bit of history that you may not know. So NAC, or N-acetylcysteine, is found in a variety of foods, garlic, onions, asparagus, etc. Now, like I said, N-acetylcysteine is only found in supplement form. Cysteine and its derivative are found in foods, so concentrated only in a supplement. Now, NAC, as it is commonly known, because it's a heck of a lot easier to say than N-acetylcysteine.
Correct, although it's sort of fun to say.
It is kind of fun. Was first studied as a drug. Now, keep that in mind. First studied as a drug in 1963. Therein lies the problem. Amazon removed NAC for sale in the U.S. in 2021, just last year, due to claims by the FDA of it being classified as a drug rather than a supplement. Now, here's the information we need to know at the bottom. NAC is a derivative of the amino acid L-cysteine.
Okay.
And is a precursor in the formation of the antioxidant, or the master antioxidant, glutathione. So it creates glutathione. That's basically what it's saying. So if you need more glutathione, more antioxidant in your body, don't take more glutathione. Take something that makes glutathione. Makes your body make glutathione.
Right.
See? Now, that's that second bullet that we read about it first being studied as a drug. That's the problem. If something is studied as a supplement first, it can be classified as a supplement. Now they're saying, no, this thing was it was studied as a drug, and then they decided, nope, it's a supplement. And now the government's saying, whoa, wait a minute. This was first studied as a drug. We have the right to call it a drug and pull it off the supplement market and make money off of it. That's what the issue is, because it works so well for so many things. It's kind of like ivermectin, right? Like 2 years ago, you'd say ivermectin, and everybody go, oh, what's that? Oh, that's something that they take down in the jungles of Africa and South America for, parasites.
Malaria and
Malaria and parasites. Now, find it was great for the virus that just came through. So,
in fact, a year ago, we couldn't even say the word.
yeah, you couldn't even say the word. You couldn't even find it. I mean, people were so desperate to get it once they found on different sources that this was actually good, and everybody pulled it off the shelves or wasn't willing to sell it. They're going to feed stores and getting it because they also have ivermectin for horses. Same stuff, just in larger doses, and people were taking smaller doses of it. So anyway, this is kind of the same story with NAC. NAC is so good as a supplement, and it works for so many things that the FDA goes, we want that. That's ours. So they want to classify it as a drug. But, it's funny, if you make any kind of, here's a funny thing, with the FDA rules the way they are, and it's ludicrous, but unfortunately it stands up in court, that if you make a claim that this particular thing, if you say this apple cures cancer, I'm calling apple a drug. And apples are not classified as drugs, and therefore I can be blamed for saying that I'm calling that apples can cure or treat somebody. And if you can cure or treat somebody with something, then it's a drug. That's why you see that disclaimer all over every page of our website saying this is not intended to diagnose, treat, or cure any disease. We have to say that per the rules, per the law, to say that, hey, look, we're not selling drugs. We're selling supplements. They're not regulated. NAC, FDA wants to regulate it, make it a drug, and jack up the price. That's the idea. So while you can still get it, I would still get NAC if I were you. We have it at lairdwellness.com. You can also get it at lifeextension.com. It's the same thing. We decided to make it convenient for folks because we know what it's good for. We can talk to you about it and all that kind of thing. So we get it from Life Extension, and we can extend it to you for the same price they sell it for. So anyway, we have NAC. So let's find out what NAC is good for.
Okay.
So first of all, why do we need it? Yeah. So we need it because as we age, our glutathione levels drop naturally.
True.
It's just a cause of aging. It's one of those things, things start to break down. Your liver doesn't work quite as well. Your bowels don't work quite as well. Everything just kind of comes down, right? So glutathione is one of those things that comes down. And as they drop, and with relation to the brain, the brain's defenses weaken.
Okay.
So this is, it becomes more susceptible to oxidative injury. So we're talking about oxidative stress, oxidation. That's why we have antioxidants, right? That's why we got to eat all the good foods. So NAC will promote the master antioxidant, glutathione. You see the connection there now, right? Okay, so higher levels of oxidative stress in the brain, they'll contribute to cognitive impairment. certain presidents struggle with that. So we're talking about Alzheimer's and dementia and things like this. So anyway, the autopsies prove it. That's where they got this from. They can actually see this. It's not like, gee, is that happening? Or is it maybe just something else happening in the brain? No. Mentally, the things that happen have a physical cause to them. And not having enough glutathione is one of those causes. So let's take a look here. So cognitive improvement with glutathione supplement in Alzheimer's diseases, a way forward. Okay, so look at the highlighted copy there. GSH, which is glutathione, and they abbreviate it for ease in writing this report. GSH, glutathione, is depleted significantly in the hippocampal regions in your brain in mild cognitive impairment, MCI, and AD patients, so that is Alzheimer's disease patients, compared to healthy older subjects. So there you go.
Interesting.
Right? Interesting. Yeah. So autopsy studies are showing that patients with this have depleted glutathione levels in certain areas of the brain, right? And decreased glutathione has been observed in other conditions, not in this study, but in other ones, with relation to Parkinson's disease, schizophrenia, bipolar disorder, and even major depression. So
wow.
These are all issues with the brain and mood and things like that. So you can see how it's very important to get the right nutrients in order to stabilize our mood, stabilize our thought patterns, stabilize our memory. You see, so it's really important that we have these things. And so that's why we want to really promote this tonight, because who doesn't know somebody with some kind of cognitive impairment in their family, like an older relative or something like that.
Yep.
It seems like everybody has this. Why? Because glutathione levels are coming down, and yet we read in the Bible, people live to be a ripe old age and they're on their deathbed blessing their children and making sure that everything's all in order. Right to the moment they pass, they're like sharp as a tack.
Right.
So what has happened? Well, we've probably complicated some things and created more oxidative stress. We talked about omega-6s last week, right?
Yeah.
So there we go, right?
Huge.
Inflammation.
Yeah.
Which would also, inflammation just doesn't happen in your blood vessels. It's going to go to your brain too. Mm-hmm. So anything you're going to be doing to your body and causing a problem, you're going to be causing a problem in your brain as well, because the blood vessels in the brain are very small. So you've got to have good blood flow to the rest of the body to heal anything, right? Blood flow is everything. You hear me saying that all the time. Well, the smallest blood vessels are in the brain. So you can imagine how exacerbated problems in the body are in the brain, because now you're having to go through a smaller hose to get up there. And if it's already clogged elsewhere, well, the brain's kind of out of luck. Not going to get the blood flow it needs.
Right.
All right, so Dr. Axe has something to say about this as well. I've interviewed Dr. Axe before, great guy, Josh Axe. He's in cahoots with Jordan Rubin.
Okay.
They have companies together. They actually started, what was it? Beyond Organics.
Beyond Organic.
Remember that?
Yes.
Yeah, Beyond Organic. And they were also involved in Garden of Life.
Yeah.
All that whole thing.
I didn't know they were together with that.
Yep. Oh, no, that was after that, I think.
What about the new one? Primal something or other?
Yeah. I was trying to think of the new one. Yeah, they had that as well. But they just recently sold that, I think.
Yeah.
For a lot of cash, and now they're on to something else now. But they're into the same things, getting healthier animal-based foods, because that's the way Jordan Rubin healed his irritable bowel. Mm-hmm. He had really serious irritable bowel, and so he healed that through, I guess, kind of what we would know now as a ketogenic diet, really.
Yeah, and the cows were different, if I remember correctly, right? They were imported.
They were the A2 cows.
Yeah, they were a special kind of cow and raised.
But now you can get that milk. Friends of ours buy that milk. Mm-hmm. It's A2 milk. So now that kind of stuff has finally come over the last 10 years to America. Basically, what they found was that the cows that we have in North America obviously came originally from, Europe, and people brought them over and raised them here and that kind of thing. Well, the protein in those cows is different than the protein that comes from like places in Africa and such. And they noticed that people down there were not having the same ailments as people here and in Europe. So they thought, I wonder if it has something to do with the dairy. Sure enough, it does. And so that's why Jordan Rubin and Josh Axe are raising these animals. And that's why now other people obviously are now too, because it's in mass distribution. And you'll see this milk called A2 milk. And like we said, friends of ours have it in the refrigerator.
And the reason why they have it is because regular milk hurts the tummy, and this milk does not hurt their tummy. We don't drink
Yep.
it at all. We don't drink milk at all, but this is a good alternative. If you do drink milk, you do have tummy issues, and my friend swears by it that it really helps her.
Yeah. Now, if you have tummy issues with milk, well, that's just the beginning. What else is it doing? That's just the warning signal that there's something else going on here, and don't put any more down here, please. It's not that your stomach is upset from milk. It's doing something beyond that. So just take that as the warning signal and then try and figure out, okay, why is it warning me? What else is going on?
Pain is a red flag.
Yeah.
It means,
Yes.
dig deeper, right? There's something going on with something.
Exactly. Okay, now here's what Josh Axe has to say about NAC. While there's still a need for more research showing how NAC works in the brain, there's evidence that NAC seems to help with ruminations, and that is difficult to control extreme negative self-thoughts.
Oh, wow.
Like, what he's not saying there is suicidal thoughts.
Oh, wow.
So it can help make these thought patterns less distressing and less likely to evoke serious worry or fear to trigger depression. So these are people who have depression, bipolar, they have thoughts that they want to end their lives. Wouldn't it be amazing if all you had to do was supplement somebody who's having those thoughts with NAC and they wouldn't have those thoughts anymore?
Nice.
Wouldn't that be great?
Yep. I take it every day.
So do I, in the morning, with my serapeptase and my nattokinase on an empty stomach. Now, does it say empty stomach on this? I can't remember.
I don't think it ever says anything everywhere.
3 times daily. Nope.
3 times?
1 capsule, 1 to 3 times daily.
3 times.
Depending on whether you want 600, 1200, or 1800 milligrams.
Right, which you said 600 is already a therapeutic dose. So
it is.
If somebody is having some severe thoughts, maybe it would be good to up that dose.
Of course, always do your own research on this stuff. We are not diagnosing. We are not prescribing. We are passing along information. You make your own decision. That's why we call this self-directed wellness. We'll give you the test. We'll tell you information. We'll tell you what it means. You go do some homework on your own. We'll help guide you to help show you what is good and what's crap. But then you need to make the ultimate decision, not us. Okay? All right. So now, and a lot of people like it that way. So that's why a lot of people are coming to us. All right, so now, NAC also lowers levels of homocysteine. Now, typically when we talk about homocysteine, we're talking about this handy-dandy stuff right here. If you can't see it, it is vitamin B12. The B vitamins. B vitamins are very good at bringing down homocysteine levels. Homocysteine levels that are too high in the body actually tells you that you probably have a problem with converting B vitamins from food.
Right.
And we call that the MTHFR gene mutation. Couldn't get that out. Anyway, I think I have that because I have trouble bringing my homocysteine levels down. 30% of people in this world have that. Why? Not really sure yet. But in the meantime, we can take B vitamins and bring it down. NAC also helps with that. So here's something about that. So elevated levels of homocysteine are a risk factor for the development of cardiovascular disease and stroke. Research has revealed that high homocysteine is also a risk factor for cognitive decline and dementia. Okay, so there you go. That's what I was talking about, right? If you're having problems in the big vessels, i.e. your cardiovascular system, and, heart disease, stroke risks, obviously it's going to be a problem in the brain too because those vessels are even smaller. And so what helps with that is the B vitamins, but also NAC too.
Okay.
I also take B vitamins. Now, I have taken the one from the Haleo diet there before. I kind of switch on and off. Right now, I'm off on that one, and I'm on Billy Weiss's multivitamin.
Yes.
And in a couple of months, I'll probably, once I empty that bottle, I'll switch back to this, and I'll go back and forth and see if I feel any different. But right now, it seems that the multivitamin is working just as well as the isolated vitamin here. This one is, and if you do have a B vitamin in your house, you're going, well, I don't want to have to, I just bought a bottle. I mean, how do I know? So the way you know if B vitamins are good, if you look on the back, you're going to look for, it says B12. Like, why am I going to B12, not the other ones? Because the B12, if they're choosing this way that I'm about to explain to manufacture their B vitamins, it's a more expensive way. And if they're going to do it with this one vitamin, they're going to do it with the rest. So you can pretty much be assured that the one you have is good if it says methylcobalamin. Methylcobalamin, that is the scientific name for B12. Now, there are other names. If it says cyanocobalamin, that means that it is the cheap version, and you don't want that. There's also one called hydroxycobalamin. Okay. That's even better than methylcobalamin, actually. So if it says hydroxycobalamin or methylcobalamin under your B12 in the vitamin that you have at home, you have a good one. If it says cyanocobalamin, put it away. I can't tell you how many times people get me on Messenger or they email me or text me and say, hey, look at this great supplement I found, like with this supplement company, and they've made a big splash about it, big, huge advertising campaign for, okay, number one, it's usually MLM. Number one, we don't do MLMs here. I hate MLMs, okay? So we don't do that. Number two, I can pretty much guarantee you that if it's an MLM supplement, now some MLM things are different. We're not talking about like all the stuff Amway has and all kinds of stuff. We're just talking about certain supplements. Usually, if you look at an MLM supplement, I can say, you know what? I tell people, hand me the label. And they're like, what? No, give me the label. Let me read the back. Okay, you don't trust them? Nope, I don't. So I turn it around, start reading the ingredients. Oh, they got this kind of spirulina. They got barley powder, this and that, and the other thing, beetroot, all good things. Get down to the B12. Cyanocobalamin. I'm out. Done. Because now I know that they're cheaping out on the rest of it too. And usually if you look at that too, here's another one. So talking about barley powder.
All right.
If people say, if it just says on the back of the supplement list, it says barley grass or barley powder, they have taken the barley grass and pulverized it. You're not getting what you think you are when you're buying something like Hallelujah Diet's Barley Max. Hallelujah Diet's Barley Max is barley grass that has been juiced. No fiber, no filler. It's just the juice. It's the concentrated goodness of everything that was in that blade of grass and nothing in the way. That's what you want.
Right.
You don't want the grass itself. You want the juice in the grass. Fiber holds things together. What the real beauty of the nutrients in the vegetables we eat is in the juices. Now, you want to eat some raw, you want to eat some in smoothies, you want to eat some juicing. Well, we'll talk about that some other time. There's a whole science behind that. But anyway, just know that if you see barley grass powder, go and check the B12 too, because they're probably both cheap products, and you can just this is a bunch of marketing gimmick.
I talked to a client today, and they actually get B12 shots every week. And at first I was like, wow, every week. I've heard of that, every couple months or every month or every 3 months or 6 months. But she gets them every week, and it was the cyanocobalamin version of getting the shot. And I thought, well, that's probably why you need them every week, is because it's not really
because nobody's checking to see that you are not converting.
Yeah.
So if you need them every week, exactly.
And
good point.
Yeah, her issue way back in the day was that she was not converting the B12, so they went to the shots.
Why in the world are they giving her cyanocobalamin shots?
I guess
that doesn't make any sense.
She's been doing it for years and years and years, and just didn't want to stop because she knew it worked. But now there's better stuff out there.
Yeah, hydroxycobalamin is the best. Go for good companies. We're about to take on another really good company here, Global Healing.
Yes.
From Dr. Edward Group. He talks about some really weird stuff at conferences, if you've ever heard him.
Yes.
One of them being, what does he call it? Urinology or something like this?
Urine therapy, but
urine therapy.
It's a different word.
It's what it sounds like.
It's exactly what it sounds like.
Yep, drinking your own urine.
Every day.
But it's amazing. I'm not about to do it, but that stuff he looks into is just like next level. So anyway, we are going to bring on his products here.
But you never know what's coming down the road. I mean,
I know, right? But anyway, we've got some. Yeah, we've tried some of his stuff. Jody is actually experimenting with some of his things right now. We do that before we ever present anything to you. We test it out first.
Yes.
To make sure it works.
And what I'm trying from him right now really works, especially for those women who may be constipated every once in a while.
Okay, that's coming soon.
Very
coming
good.
soon. Yep. Okay, so. Where were we? Dr. Axe. Okay, we got on a rabbit trail there. And homocysteine. That's right. So let's talk more about homocysteine. So homocysteine, we talked about the elevated risk factors, right? In the brain, in the heart, all that kind of good stuff. So now here is a study on that very point. So homocysteine and dementia. There you go. An international consensus. So check this out. Intervention trials in the orange there in the elderly with cognitive impairment show that homocysteine lowering treatment with B vitamins, okay, and NAC for that matter, markedly slows the rate of whole and regional brain atrophy. What's atrophy? It's the shrinking, usually when we talk about atrophy, we talk about muscles or a cancer tumor shrinking. So brain shrinking, essentially. And also slows cognitive decline. That's good. Okay, so the findings are consistent with moderately raised plasma total homocysteine, which is common in the elderly, being one of the causes of age-related cognitive decline and dementia. Wow, how about that? That is amazing. Okay, so now in 2018, when was this? This was 2018. Yeah, it was. So, yes. Okay, I was just going to read that same thing. I had it written here, but I also had it on the study, so you don't need to see that again. All right. So, we have the NAC levels mentioned in these studies. By the way, so this is the one we were talking about right here, NAC. And here is the website where you will find it. All you have to do is go to lairdwellness.com. And you can look for NAC. You don't have to spell out that complicated thing we don't like saying. Or Jody likes saying it.
Yes.
N-acetylcysteine.
N-acetylcysteine. N-acetylcysteine.
And there we go. We have it circled there. 600 milligrams. That's the type of dose they're talking about in these studies. Now, they go up to 2,400, but 600 is where it starts. So you can get that by just going to lairdwellness.com. Go to the little spyglass at the top right and type in NAC and you will find it. And it's cheap like borscht, as we used to say in Canada. Look at that, $13.95 and you get 60 servings. If you're only taking one a day, that's going to last you 2 months. This stuff is not pricey, folks. Why do you think the FDA wants to get their hands on it and make a drug out of it? They can bump it up significantly and still make money, and it would still be cheap, and they would still be happy. So here's what you need to know. N-acetylcysteine is a nutrient that can be used by the body as a precursor in the synthesis of new glutathione. So what does that mean? It will produce glutathione. Don't take more glutathione. Or you can do that too. There's selenium will also promote glutathione.
Right. I think I'm taking all three.
I think I am too. So that's why we're so healthy, right? Glutathione levels tend to drop with age. Yeah, we mentioned that. Low levels of glutathione are seen in the brains of those suffering from cognitive decline and dementia, including Brandon, as well as various other chronic conditions of the nervous system. Brain scanning technology in humans has shown that NAC use boosts the production of glutathione in the brain, shielding against oxidative damage, right? It's the master antioxidant. That's why it shields against oxidative damage. Makes sense, huh? Studies have found that NAC acts by various other mechanisms to protect the brain, including lowering levels of harmful homocysteine and modulating neurotransmitter systems. How about that? And human trials of NAC for dementia and other neuropsychiatric conditions are also currently in progress. In animal studies so far, NAC has shown benefits in models of accelerated aging, Alzheimer's disease, stroke, and Parkinson's disease. Wow, that is so super cool. Love that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And so cheap.
Yep. So now we talked about the amount people would take of that, right? So we each take one. And the amounts used in these studies range from 600 to 4,000.
Oh, 4,000.
So do your homework, do some poking around, see what you think, make your own decision on it.
I may up mine.
Yeah, okay. Now, if you are on a blood thinner, you may want to check with your doctor first, because this, in its protection mechanisms, can prevent blood clots as well.
Yes. Yep.
So if you don't have any, well, that's good, right? That's good if you want to prevent blood clots, especially if you had to get the shot or something like that, and you're struggling with this.
And
or you had COVID,
long haul and blood clot issues. It's around. What about even like brain fog from Hashimoto's, which I have, which I don't
know if that's due to blood clots, but
no,
certainly...
I'm just saying, would this not benefit somebody who has brain fog from Hashimoto's?
Well, it's sort of like, long story short, yes, because if it's going to help people with depression, Alzheimer's, ADHD for that matter, I'm sure has been looked into. We just didn't cover it tonight. All the things to do with the brain. Now think about this. If it is helping to break down blood clots and or thin the blood naturally, like thinning the blood with aspirin is basically killing off certain portion of the blood. That's not really natural. I don't like that idea.
And actually, when you Google this online, NAC is likened to taking a baby aspirin a day.
There you go.
If you Google it. So it's even out there on mainstream Google.
So like we talked about, if all of these issues of the brain which has smaller vessels than the rest of the body, if it helps one, it's going to help them all. Why? Because it's increasing blood flow. All of these things rely on increased blood flow to the brain in order for the brain to work correctly. If the brain were to work correctly, and you'd be on your deathbed like Moses or whoever, or Abraham in the Bible, blessing your children right before you knock off, that's obviously he didn't have Alzheimer's or brain fog, or he wasn't
They're
demented,
probably eating
or
a
he
lot
didn't.
of fat too.
Right. And so all these good things, that's what we need to get back to. We have regressed from those times by all of our modern technology and our brilliance. We have sort of messed ourselves up.
Kind of an oxymoron.
It is an oxymoron indeed. And so now you look at when these television shows tell us that the Egyptians were so far above us in order to build the pyramids and all this kind of thing and line them up with the stars, and
they didn't have
maybe
burritos.
They did, right? They didn't have burritos, exactly. All right, so just to recap, so we showed you what you need to know. Remember the subscribe and save. Let's show you that again. So remember to look for this on any of our products that is a usable product that is up in 30 days. You can subscribe, save 5%, and we will send it to you automatically every month. And also remember to get our blood test panel. You can get it at $30 off if you use the code BLOOD30, and that ends on September 30th. All right, well, thank you for your time and attention. It's been a short one tonight, but hopefully lots of information, and we will see you next time on Laird Wellness Live. See you.
Take care.